Okay, here ma, this is the continuation class ma, previous class. So this is the already completed ma. If it is hexagon, regular hexagon, 6 times of z naught square equal to sigma z1 square, already this is completed ma. Next example. So basing on this equilateral triangle concepts, many bits are there. These are the few examples I explained to you ma. Even if you go through single material, there are few more bits are there. Just try to solve all those bits basing on this rotation theorem, that too equilateral triangle concept. Next ma. So after this one more example I will give in detail. Here ma, few points I will tell you. For example, concept point this one. A is the complex number, let it be z1. B is the complex number z2. C is z3. D is z4. Are the 4 points ma. For example, if AC is parallel to BD, then what is the condition if they given like this ma? For example, okay, A of z1, B of z2, C of z3, D of z4 means those are the points in the argon plane. If AC line is parallel to BD, if AC line is parallel to BD, then what is the condition? Okay, geometrical application bits, all this. AC means ma, this one, BD this one. So automatically, if you calculate argument of z3 minus z1 by z4 minus z2, since here this is one line equation, somewhere here A is there, somewhere here C is there, this is z1, this is z3, and one more line is there here like this. Here it is also, this is B of z2, somewhere D of z4. They are parallel. So indirectly argument means ma, z3 minus z1 and z4 minus z2. Argument. What is the argument will be? Here if you calculate the argument value, if they are parallel, you will get 0 or pi. This one only na. Here if the two lines are parallel, automatically if you calculate argument value, what is argument value? Argument means nothing but angle between the two lines. What is the angle between the two lines will be? Either 0 or pi. 0 means if they have the same direction, if you consider 0, opposite directions, you will get the angle them is equal to pi. Now here ma, in the complex plane, argument 0 means positive real axis. Got it na? Argument pi means negative real axis. This is negative real axis. This is a positive real axis, total real axis only. So according to given data, you can assume this is a whole one complex number. This is taken as one complex number. So argument of one complex number equal to 0 or pi means what is the nature of that complex number? That complex number is purely real. Got it ma? Once again, if you take any point here, 1 you can take it, or 2 you can take it, minus 1 you can take it, minus 2. What is the argument of 1? 0. Argument of 2? 0. Argument of minus 1? Pi. Argument of minus 2? Pi. Means whole this complex number you can consider as one complex number. So according to given data, these two lines are parallel means the argument difference is either 0 or pi. So means here we can write z3 minus z1 by Z4 minus Z2 is purely real. This is the one important point. Now, JE mains point of view. How they will frame the bit? Simple, they will frame the bit like this. If Z3 minus Z1 by Z2 minus Z4 is purely real, then then the line joining Z1 Z3 and line joining Z2 Z4 are dash. How they will be? Parallel, perpendicular, data is insufficient, none of these they will give. So what we can conclude, they are parallel, and even extension point is also there. So the whole complex number is purely real. For example, if you take any purely real number, purely real here. If you take any purely real number, Z and its conjugate, how they are related, If Z is purely real, only real part is there. There is no imaginary part. If Z is purely real, then Z and Z conjugate, how they are related, equal. This is also one more important point. Since, for example, Z is equal to 3, then what is Z conjugate also? 3 only. Since here it is purely real. So, here next extension point, that implies what you can conclude? Z3 minus Z1 by Z4 minus Z2 equal to Z3 minus Z1 by Z4 minus Z2 whole conjugate. This complex number is nothing but equal to its conjugate complex number. Now, with the help of the conjugate properties, if you simplify, you will get there the condition is that implies Z3 minus Z1 by Z4 minus Z2 equal to Z3 conjugate minus Z1 conjugate by Z4 conjugate minus Z2 conjugate. Even this condition is also important. Sometimes this condition directly they will give, then find angle between Z1 Z3 line joining points and Z2 Z4 lines. Automatically what about the angle will be? Either 0 or pi. This is also competitive point of view important concept. Okay, remember this point also. Compulsory prepare classroom notebook. In your classroom notebook, revise all these things exclusively IIT level, up to IIT level. What I am giving, these are sufficient. Just refer all these videos, prepare your classroom notebook, then start doing. Okay, for complex number, this is very, very nice notebook, no doubt at all. You can prepare yourself. Okay. Next, next condition. Next point is, for example, Z1 comma Z2. Z1 comma Z2. If they are perpendicular in the sense, maybe O2 joining to Z1 and origin to Z2 are perpendicular. Or perpendicular means that is OZ1. This is the meaning. Z1 Z2 perpendicular means this is the meaning. OZ1 is perpendicular to OZ2 means this is origin, Let this is Z1. Let this is Z2. Like this. Then how they are related? How the two complex numbers are related? Listen ma. That implies if I calculate the value argument of what is this value, tell me? If I take like this, argument of Z2 minus 0 by Z1 minus 0. What is the value? Argument is equals to pi by 2 only na? Okay, pi by 2. Or if you take Z2 this direction, minus pi by 2. Okay ma'am. Sorry. So here argument of Z2 by Z1 is equals to plus or minus pi by 2. Then how they are related? Listen ma here. So from this one, argument is pi by 2. For any complex number, if it is here, then what is this is imaginary axis na? This is nothing but imaginary axis. If you take any complex number on this imaginary axis, any complex number on this imaginary axis, then what is argument value? Here it is argument value pi by 2. If it is argument like this side, minus pi by 2 is the argument value. So here any complex number lies on imaginary axis, then argument is pi by 2 or minus pi by 2. Any complex number lies on imaginary axis means what is the complex number will be purely imaginary, means real part equal to 0. So here I can get that implies this is the one complex number. For this complex number, they given argument is equals to pi by 2 or minus pi by 2. Means what is the complex number nature, mom? Z2 by Z1 is what is the nature? Purely imaginary. Purely imaginary. Now listen. For example, one complex number I can take as a 3i. This is a purely imaginary. Then what is Z conjugate value? Minus 3i na? Then what is value? Z plus Z conjugate is equal to 0. So if any complex number is a purely imaginary, then automatically the complex number and its conjugate value is equal to 0. So here, since the complex number is a purely imaginary, immediately what we can get, mom, basing on that explanation, Z2 by Z1 plus Z2 by Z1 conjugate is equal to 0. According to conjugate properties, I can split this value as implies Z2 by Z1 plus Z2 conjugate by Z1 conjugate is equal to 0. So this is also one more important point. So commutative point of view, how they will frame the bit means basing on this only they will give. If the example like this, if Z2 by Z1 is purely imaginary, then argument of Z2 minus argument of Z1 equal to dash. They will ask like this. What is argument of Z2 minus argument of Z1 is equals to pi by 2 or minus pi by 2. Or one more example. Or they will ask Z2 by Z1 plus Z2 conjugate by Z1 conjugate is equal to 0. Then what is the argument of Z1 by Z2? This one also they will ask. What is argument of Z1 by Z2 formula? Argument of Z1 minus argument of Z2. No? So what about this value also? Plus or minus pi by 2. So all these are the simple points only, ma. But directly if you observe this result without knowing anything, maybe it will confusing you. So by understanding this concept, directly we can say the argument of Z1 by Z2 or argument of Z2 by Z1 is equal to plus or minus pi by 2. Okay. Next, All these are the very important points, ma'am. Exclusively IIT point of view. Prepare yourself notebook properly and keep with you up to IIT level. No need to refer any book. Directly you can take any book, you can start doing bits. That's it. Okay. Next, ma'am. Here one concept is there. Concept, ma'am. Here they given find foot of perpendicular from A of Z1 one complex number to the line BC, where let it be B of Z2 ma C of Z3. Okay, in the complex form, if they given like this, how you can find the foot of the perpendicular? Okay, ma, this is also nice concept, this one also. So here foot of perpendicular from A of Z1 to the line BC, where B of Z2, C of Z3 ma. Listen all of you. So let this is B of Z2 ma. This is C of Z3, B of Z2. Let this is A of Z1. Let the foot of perpendicular is Z4 ma. Here I am writing let Z4 is foot of perpendicular from A on BC line. Let it be. Let Z4 is the foot of the perpendicular from A on the line BC. Then if you observe, here what is the angle? What is the angle? 90 degree na? 90 degree na? So what I can write, mom? That implies argument of Z1 minus Z4 by Z3 minus Z2 is equal to what is the value will be? Pi by 2 or minus pi by 2, not an issue. Argument of Z1 minus Z4 by Z3 minus Z2 is equal to pi by 2. Okay. Now, argument pi by 2 means what is the nature of this complex number? Purely imaginary. So I can write Z1 minus Z4 by Z3 minus Z2 is purely imaginary. So purely imaginary means that complex number plus its conjugate complex number equal to 0. So I can write immediately that implies Z1 minus Z4 by Z3 minus Z2 plus this is one complex number, ma'am, and its conjugate. What is the conjugate value? Z1 conjugate minus Z4 conjugate by Z3 conjugate minus Z2 conjugate equal to 0. Okay. So Z4 is the foot of the perpendicular, so automatically I can get that is the value. Now to fix the or to locate the foot of the perpendicular, my question is that one condition is enough or not? Huh? Is it enough or not? I am giving only that particular condition. Here I am taken Z4 is 1 point here, foot of the perpendicular I taken. Okay. By taking the foot of the perpendicular, I am using the condition. Then I got that particular condition. Now here my question is that one particular condition is enough? Is it enough to fix foot of the perpendicular or not? Is it enough, ma? No. Why? Maybe I can take Z4 here also. If I extend the line like this, and here also Z4 I can take, then this condition valid. Here I can take Z4, then this condition is valid. Here I can take Z4, then also this condition is valid. So means with that only one particular condition you can't fix. So one more is required to fix that particular Z4. Nothing but foot of perpendicular. What is that extra other condition which is compulsory required to locate Z4? Listen, ma. Here Z4 lies on BC, na, foot of the perpendicular means that is the extra condition. If you take only till here condition, then Z4 is any point which is perpendicular to, which is passing through A and perpendicular to BC. But to fix particular Z4, which is our required foot of perpendicular, one more condition now I am doing. That condition is and here Z2 comma Z4 comma Z3 are collinear. This is the one more condition. So automatically that implies argument of Z4 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z4 equal to what is the value? 0 or pi. Since Z4 minus Z2, Z3 minus Z4. If you calculate the argument value, what is the argument value will be automatically either 0 or pi. So argument value 0 means where the complex number lie on real axis. So that implies here we can conclude Z4 minus Z2 by Z3 minus Z4 is purely real. So purely real means immediately what is the condition, ma'am? For any complex number Z, if it is purely real, that particular complex number and its conjugate complex number both are equal. So here I can get that implies this is the complex number. This is the complex number which is equal to its conjugate. What is the conjugate, ma'am? Z4 conjugate minus Z2 conjugate by Z3 conjugate minus Z4 conjugate. So this is the second condition. So this is the second condition. This is the first condition and is here it is valid. First condition and second condition. Then only we can say Z4 is the foot of the perpendicular from Z1 on the line segment joining the points Z2 comma Z3. This is the foot of the perpendicular concept. Okay, ma. Next. Okay, here one more example, ma'am. Here it is given. Here given as orthocenter. Who is the origin? Here one more point. Here they given, if h of z is orthocenter of triangle OAB with A of z1, B of z2 and O is origin, then prove that z minus z1 by z2, sorry, z by z1 minus z2 plus z1 conjugate by, sorry, z conjugate by z1 conjugate minus z2 conjugate is equal to 0. Okay, that is the condition. Okay, like example, not note, one example they given, subjective bit. If h of z is the orthocenter of triangle OAB with A of z1, B of z2 and O is the origin, then prove that z by z1 minus z2 plus z conjugate by z1 conjugate minus z2 conjugate equal to 0. Then how you can proceed? Listen, even for this one also, just now we completed the foot of the perpendicular concept. Now, basing on that particular concept only, we have to do here also. So let OAB, you may take like this, O AB triangle. Let this is O, this is A of z1. Let this is B of z2, B of z2. Orthocenter. What is the meaning of orthocenter? Orthocenter means, orthocenter means altitude's concurrent point. Na? So altitude concurrent point means, let this is one altitude. Then automatically somewhere here you will get more orthocenter h of z they given like this. Now from this diagram, OH is perpendicular to AB line. OH line is perpendicular to AB. So in complex number form, how I can add? That implies argument of z by, this is the value, z minus 0 by z1 minus z2. z1 minus z2. What about this value argument will be? Pi by 2, no? Pi by 2 or minus pi by 2. Means one complex number argument pi by 2 means, what is the logic? That complex number is purely imaginary. So here z by z1 minus z2 is purely imaginary. This is purely imaginary. So if it is purely imaginary, then number, that complex number plus its conjugate complex number equal to 0. So automatically here what you will get, z by z1 minus z2 plus its conjugate. What is the conjugate? Z conjugate by z1 conjugate minus z2 conjugate equal to 0. So this is the condition they are asking. Even you can derive one more condition also. If you observe here, altitude's concurrent point. So here how AH is related to OB, that is also perpendicular. This is the condition. Okay, we got it. That is a bit clear. Okay, if they will ask any extension part, AH is perpendicular to OB, even we can derive this condition also. Since orthocenter means altitude concurrent point, automatically here if you observe, AH is one more altitude. So automatically AH is perpendicular to OB. AH is perpendicular to OB means, how I can write, argument of z minus z1 or z1 minus z by z2 minus 0 is equals to pi by 2. Can I mention like this, ma'am? Since these lines also perpendicular. This is AH line. This is BO line perpendicular. So argument of AH by BO is nothing but pi by 2. Same here also. Since argument pi by 2 means what is the nature of this complex number? Purely imaginary. So purely imaginary means complex number plus its conjugate complex number equal to 0. So here I can get the condition z minus z1 by z2 plus its conjugate complex number. What is its conjugate value? Z conjugate minus z1 conjugate by z2 conjugate is equal to 0. Okay, even these also one more condition is valid if H is the ortho center by joining the points A of z1 comma B of z2 is the value. Okay, I hope that this is also clear. Next, this is the bit already given. Here they given one bit, one example here. Listen all of you. Z1 comma Z2 are the roots of the equation z square plus pz plus q is equal to 0. Z1 comma Z2 are the roots of the equation z square plus pz plus q equal to 0, where p comma q belongs to complex number. Let A and B represent Z1 comma Z2 if angle AOB equal to some theta or alpha which is not equal to 0 and OA equal to OB, then prove that the value here the bit is P square equal to 4Q into cos square alpha by 2. This is the bit. Okay. So here if you observe, by the given data, they given Z1 comma Z2 are the roots of z square plus pz plus q is equal to 0, where p comma q belongs to complex numbers. Let a and b represent z1 comma z. If angle AOB equals to alpha, which is not equal to 0, then OA and OA equal to OB. That is the value we have to prove it. Listen, all of you. So if you observe here by the data, if this is O, this is A of Z1, let this is B of Z2, and here it is given as alpha, and these two lengths are equal. That is the value already they given. So here my question is, how you can derive the relation between Z2 and Z1? If you observe here Z2 Z1 relation by rotation theorem, by rotation theorem, Z2 is equals to Z1 into e power I alpha. This rotation theorem already we given, ma'am. So basing on that rotation theorem, so Z2 equal to, you will get Z1 into e power I alpha. You can use this Z2 equals to Z1 into e power I alpha, ma'am. Anywhere you can use it. Okay, that is clear. Now given bit we will observe, ma'am. Here the given bit Z1 comma Z2 are the roots of the equation. Z1 comma Z2 are the roots of the equation. This is the value, z square plus pz equals to q. Immediately sum of the roots. What is the sum of the root z1 plus z2 value? Minus p. And z1 into z2 value q. Okay, now here from this one, if you square it, tell me what you can get here the value. Therefore p square equal to z1 square plus z2 square plus 2 z1 z2. Okay, ma'am. And here the 2 z1 square as it is, z2 square. What is z2 square value? Here if you observe, what is z2 value will be z1 into e power I alpha. You can replace that value. Then here z2 square means z1 square e power I alpha whole square means e power 2i alpha plus 2 into z1 into z2 value z1 into e power I alpha. Like that I can get. Now what my aim is to find the value p square by q. If you observe here, this is nothing but p square by q, and here in each complex number I can common z1 square. If I common z1 square, what is the value first I can get, mom? 1 plus, here it is the value e power iota 2 alpha. Here it is value plus 2 into e power I alpha. This is the value. This is an equation number 2. From equation number 2 implies z1 into z2 is equals to q. z1 into z2 value. What is z2 value? Nothing but z1 e power I alpha. z1 e power I alpha is equals to q. Now z1 square into e power I alpha is equals to q. Now we can do p square by q. You can find it. Now p square by q is equals to, what is the p square value? This one only now. P square value is z1 square into 1 plus e power iota 2 alpha plus 2 into e power I alpha by denominator value z1 square into e power I alpha. Now here these two get cancelled. Our aim is to show that cos square alpha by 2. Now in the numerator you can common e power I alpha. If I common e power I alpha, then e power I alpha, here e power I alpha cancel. If I common e power I alpha, 1 by e power I alpha plus here e power I alpha plus 2. Like this you can get. Now which is equal to 1 by e power I alpha means e power minus I alpha. E power minus I alpha plus e power I alpha plus 2. What is this value? E power minus I alpha means cos alpha minus I sin alpha plus, what about this value will be cos alpha plus I sin alpha plus 2. These two get cancelled. Cos alpha plus cos alpha, 2 cos alpha. So 2 cos alpha plus 2. If I common to 1 plus cos alpha, 2 into, what is the formula for 1 plus cos alpha? 2 cos square alpha by 2. 2 cos square alpha by 2. That means p square by q is equals to what we got, mom? Therefore, p square by q is equals to 4 into cos square alpha by 2, which implies p square is equals to 4q cos square alpha by 2 is the value. That one, p square equal to 4q into cos square alpha by 2. So this is the one more kind of bit, ma'am. Okay, na? So once again listen. Z1 comma Z2 are roots of the equation z square plus pz plus q is equal to 0, where pq belongs to complex numbers. Let a and b represent z1 z2 and angle AOB equals to alpha not equal to 0, and OA is equals to OB is the value, ma'am. Then prove that this is the value. We have to prove it. P square equal to 4q cos square alpha by 2. While entering into the bit, first of all, what is the given? A of z1, B of z2, let it be. According to data, OA equal to OB and angle AOB alpha means this is the logic. So if you rotate OA through an angle alpha, you will get OB. So there only immediately we have to apply rotation theorem. According to rotation theorem, how you can get Z2 value, ma'am? Z2 is nothing but Z1 into e power I alpha. This is the first point we have to observe. Now, they given Z1, Z2 are the roots of the equation. So, if Z1 comma Z2 are the roots of the equation, Z square plus pz plus q is equal to 0. Automatically, this is the sum of the roots minus p. And the product of the roots Z1, Z2 is equal to q is the value. Now, p square, if you observe here, p square they are asking. So, due to that, I did p square. What is the p square value will be? P square is equal to Z1 square plus Z2 square plus 2 Z1 Z2. But according to this value, Z2 value, Z1 into e power I alpha, replace the value, you will get this is the value. Now here, p square by q you will get. Means p square by q we have to find. And what is the q value? From the second equation, Z1 Z2 equal to q. Of course, Z2 value in terms of Z1 already we got. Replace, you will get q value like this. Now, what I am doing? P square by q. So, p square by q means Z1 square into 1 plus e power I2 alpha plus 2 into e power I, this is value. Z1 square, numerator, denominator cancel. Now, I common e power I alpha. Otherwise, divide with e power I alpha. 1 by e power I alpha plus e power I2 alpha by e power I alpha means I power I alpha plus e power I alpha by e power I alpha 2 is the value. Now 1 by e power theta means e power minus theta. So I can get e power minus I alpha plus e power I alpha plus 2. What is e power iota theta? Means Euler form cos theta plus I sin theta. Of course here minus I alpha is there. So cos alpha minus I sin alpha plus e power I alpha means cos alpha plus I sin alpha. Both get cancelled, ma'am. Cos alpha plus cos alpha, 2 cos alpha plus 2. If you common 2, you will get 1 plus cos alpha, 1 plus cos alpha. What is the value? 1 plus cos alpha formula. To cancel that one, 2 cos square alpha by 2. So already 2 is there. One more time you can get 2 cos square alpha by 2. So total value is 4 cos square alpha by 2. 4 cos square alpha by 2. So hold the value, mom. P square by q is equals to 4 cos square alpha by 2. My aim is to fix p square value only. Therefore, p square equals to 4q cos square alpha by 2. Okay, I hope that this is, maybe I hope you can understand. Okay. Next, ma'am. Next example, Here they given, these are the now one example I will explain, ma'am. If z1 square minus z1 z2 plus z square equal to 0, then origin comma z1 comma z2 form dash triangle. This is the bit they given, ma'am. What is the nature of the triangle? z1 square minus z1 z2 plus z2 square equal to 0. Then origin z1 comma z2 form. What is the nature of the triangle? What is the nature of the triangle? Equilateral triangle. Just is last lecture only we discussed na same thing. Okay, ma, simple logic. Instead of z3, they taken as the origin. This is the bit is there already in Narayana material. Okay, and one more concept ma here. Today concept is we will discuss the concept here. Area of triangle concept. The two area of the triangle concept ma. First point is concept the area of triangle formed by z comma iz comma z plus iz is half into mod z square. This is the point they given. The area of the triangle formed by z comma iz comma z plus iz is half into modulus z square. This is the point. Okay, na? Even sometimes JEE mains point of view direct bit is there. What is the area of the triangle formed by z, iz, z plus iz is dash. Sometimes they will ask like that. Then what about the area will be? Listen all of you. So here if you observe, the complex numbers are z, iz, z plus iz. These are the three complex numbers they given. Z, iz, z plus iz. Now we have to find the area of the triangle formed by these three complex numbers. And here if you observe, yesterday I given one concept. What is the concept I given? Addition of the complex numbers. Geometrically, where the location of z1 plus z2. If z1 z2 is given, okay, if z1 z2 is given, then where z1 plus z2 lie? Already I given that particular point. Same here also. If these are the two complex numbers, and here the third one is the addition of these two complex numbers, z plus iz. If z is one complex number, iz is one complex number, here they are asking z plus iz, where the complex number will be. Listen, ma. So first we will discuss how these two are related. Z, iz. Okay, ma'am. Z and iz. One complex number, if you multiply I, then the complex number and you multiply the complex number with I, how they are related? The angle between them is 90 degree. Simple logic ma. Here, if you take one complex number z1, let this is z2, and here it is pi by 2. If they both are equal, since here if you observe ma, z, iz, what is modulus z value has? Modulus of iz also same thing na? Means here it is clear z and iz are equidistant from the origin. So If I take origin is here, then how Z2 is related? Z2 is equal to Z1 into e power I pi by 2. That's it now. According to relation theorem, Z1 into what is e power I pi by 2 means? Cos pi by 2 plus I sin pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 value 0 plus I into sin pi by 2 value 1 means I you will get here. So which is equal to I into Z1. So means if it is Z, then this value nothing but IZ only. This is value nothing but IZ only, you will get it. Means here if you observe, if you take origin somewhere here mom, if this is Z, this is IZ only. Now that two here, what is the angle between these two? 90 degree. Now according to logic, this logic Z plus IZ, what I given already, Z plus IZ means complete the parallelogram. Complete parallelogram. Of course here it will be square, you can get it. This is the location of the Z plus IZ. They are asking what is the area of the triangle. This area they are asking. This area they are asking. Instead of calculating this area, it is better to calculate this area. How you can calculate this area? This is right angle triangle since angle between them is 90 degree. So therefore area equals to half AB sin theta. For example, one formula is there in properties of triangles. This is the distance A, this is the distance B. If it is a theta, what is the area of the triangle formula? Half AB sin theta. This formula already is there now. So basing on this, area equal to half into this distance mod Z into mod IZ into sin pi by 2. So what you will get mom? Half into mod Z into here modulus of Z1 Z2. What is modulus of Z1 Z2 formula? Modulus Z1 into modulus Z2. So here automatically modulus of I into modulus of Z. What is modulus of I value? 1 only. So automatically modulus of Z. So here also you will get modulus of Z. So which is equal to half into mod Z square. So as one important point mom, you have to remember this one. So the area of the triangle formed by Z comma IZ comma Z plus IZ. Z comma IZ comma Z plus IZ is given by half into modulus Z square. Okay ma'am, I hope that it is okay, you can understand. Next ma'am, one more point. Now here the next point is given as area of triangle formed by minus Z comma IZ comma Z minus IZ is 3 by 2 mod Z square. This is the one more point. 3 by 2. This is the one more point. 3 by 2 into mod Z square. This is the next concept. Area of triangle formed by minus Z IZ Z minus IZ is 3 by 2 into modulus of Z square. Listen all of you. So let I can take Z is equal to x plus iy. Then what is minus Z value? Minus x minus iy means what is the point? Minus x minus y. That is the first point. Next IZ ma'am. iz is equals to I into x plus iy. If I multiply with iota, what about this value I square na? So means I can get minus y plus iota x, which is equals to, in the point form, I can write like this now. A real value, imaginary value. Okay. Next, z minus iz. What is z minus iota z mom? Z value x plus iy minus iota z value I got minus y plus ix. If I simplify this value, what I can get? Minus or minus plus now? X plus y plus, if I common iota, y minus x. In the point form, how I can write, mom? In the point form, I can write as x plus y. Here it is the value, y minus x. This is the value. Now, so 3 points already we know. Okay, na? 3 points given. Then find area. Area equal to half into, one general form is there now. Like in geometry part, minus x minus y x, x plus y, y minus x, then again minus x minus y. I hope that you know this formula. Then expand whole this value. If you expand, if you simplify you will get the value 3 by 2 into modulus of, this is the value you can get it. What is the mod z value? Since mod z is equals to root of x square plus y square. So if you expand, you can get 3 by 2 into mod z square. This is the area. I hope that it is clear. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.